Those words were actually channeled by our Reverend Judith Coates, and the music was put together by one of our Hart family members. There were supposed to be words on there, captioned too, but it just didn't come through from the internet, I guess. So, but how beautiful, huh? Well, it's great to be back here. I'm excited to share the messages today with you and to talk about my favorite topics. Those, by the way, were given to me by my sister as a Christmas gift years ago, and I just wanted to share those, to always put them on the forefront and let you know that those are very important to all of us. And so today it's going to be interactive. I'm going to invite you to say an affirmation with me that we'll start off with, and also to just follow up on what Larry said last time about letting go of false identities. That was a perfect segue for us today. And to also try something even more expansive in your love by practicing your smiling heart. It starts with your face and goes down to your heart. So every time that we repeat the affirmation, feel that, enjoy that. So we're engaging with beautiful pictures. Let me see. Can you hear? Engaging our sight, we're engaging our minds, we're engaging our voice, and you should have a tactical visual aid so you can follow along and also feel. There's one on there. Yeah, there's a plain one also if you want plain one, or give it. Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. And one for Clancy too. And yeah. So my plan is for us to help today is to remember and really feel our divine nature, and to have some practice involving that, involving all of our senses and especially our heart. So the affirmation that I would like us to say is right with you, right here. I am the power of divine love and joy. And I've got that on there for you to remember and to take with you. So, have you ever heard that quote by Rudyard Kipling that said, God could not be everywhere, so he made mothers? Although that sounds nice on Mother's Day, but old Rudd, I think, got it only half right. It implies that true mother's love is very godlike, and that's true. But the other part that he didn't quite get right on spot, but was part of his time, is the belief that somehow God is limited and can't be everywhere at the same time. Well, as we all know here, practicing in unity, God doesn't take vacations or be missing somehow from our part of the universe or from our lives, because God as love is the life force that is you and me. Each one of us is the power of God's love. In modern terms, it's like we're holographic fractals of the life force energy that is always in motion. See that holograph, the fractal image that a friend of ours painted? And when you look at it, let it draw you in there to feel the divine energy. And when we are truly living in alignment with the source of great love, we experience the blissful frequencies of joy. And when we are experiencing true love of our divine nature, which is also reflected in others, so Premdaya, whenever you love yourself, it is reflected in others and back again. There is great gratitude, and we've experienced the zest for life. So let's say it again. I am the divine power of light and joy. And every time you say it, let it deepen into your heart and let that smile come out. So, I grew up Catholic, and I was taught that God is omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipotent. I wondered how God could possibly be everywhere, know everything, and be all powerful. Actually, the way it was presented with us to fear God, it was quite a frightening view of God. God was ready to judge you and could send you to eternal damnation even if you didn't know which of his rules you were breaking. He could be merciful and loving, but you were not supposed to ask any questions and take everything you were taught on faith. Those were the words. Well, I did, but it was scary existence. God seemed to be like a lurking big brother, big father, always watching and listening from a distance, mind reading, remembering misdeeds, and never sleeping. Now that part got my friends and I really were wondering about, and felt really sorry about God not sleeping ever. We were kids, but we thought about these philosophical questions. But the point is that there was always a separation from God, always a view that made us feel a little uneasy, a little suspicious, and wondering what was God up to next. The idea of God inside, thus, made me uneasy when I didn't know that God was goodness and love and joy. It might have been lurking there in the background, but it was never in the foreground. It wasn't until I started studying New Thought and unity principles, and later the Jesuit channelings through Reverend Judith and other masters, that I finally got the idea of non-separation from God and God as the one power. Then I came to understand that the three omnis, the omnipresence, the omnipotence, the omniscience, could be true in a beautiful and amazing way. A benevolent, loving energy, my consciousness, living in me, as me, and knowing my true nature. Now I could relax and trust God's plan for me for the first time in my life. And this was in the early 30s that I started studying New Thought. In fact, in my research in preparing this message, I saw a fourth omni added to the powers of God, omnibenevolence. Have you ever heard that? Omnibenevolence, which really speaks to my view of God now as total love. Omnibenevolence. That should have been the first one we learned about. So let's say it together again. I am the power of divine love and joy. And here's a Jesuit quote that deepened my understanding. Love is what activates the consciousness. Think about that. Your consciousness is love. Love is what activates the body. Love is what brings forth all creation. Love is what gives life to your creations. Love is what allows the heart to feel free. You are the power of love. Ooh, let's take a breath on that one. At last, I had the freedom and the permission to express the love within me. That's in our statement of faith, isn't it? The infinite, living, loving presence is the one power in the universe and in my life. Since all is oneness, then everyone and everything is vibrating with the essence of love. Everyone and everything that is created is holographic. Each piece contains each other piece and a fractal of the source. The fractals are scattered geometrical patterns found in all of creation, from the way the leaves grow to the very cells in our bodies. For me, it is a representation of the evolution of God consciousness, the closest thing our human mind has discovered about the design of God's universe. So let's say it again. I am the divine power of love and joy. Not just human love, not just a definition of transactional love, like you love me and I'll love you, but the divine, ever-expanding, universal, unconditional love that lives in every cell of our body, permeates our feelings and minds, and constitutes our very souls. And as Yeshua tells us, it imbues and activates life into matter. Divine love spiritualizes the vibration of matter into light, with light. What a miracle! And what a miracle we are. Take a breath, feel that miracle that we are. God is omnipresent because there is no place where God, as creative, unlimited life force energy of love, is not present. We can't hide from God any more than God can hide from us. We are God's love essence, and there is no separation, though there is free will to pretend that it's not so. But that is hiding from our divine identity, now that we know the nature of God is love, and not the man-made idea that would have us fear God. The good news is that since God is in every situation, time, place, we have the power of love to choose and apply in every moment. You have heard that statement, with God all things are possible. So with the power of love that God is and we are, everything, everyone, and every situation is under the influence of this divine power. And guess what? It's meant for our highest good, omnibenevolence. Myrtle Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, put it this way in her classic book, How to Let God Help You. God not only has created the earth and us, but he is actually the very essence of all that we see about us and all that is within us. We are free agents. It isn't like we're doing something by ourselves and occasionally asking God outside of us to help, God as consultant. In reality, God is working out through his offspring that which he has conceived to be the ideal creation and life. He has given us the power which he is. I highly recommend this book if you haven't read it in a while. Some of the wording is, early 20th century, but the power of the words and the concepts is still very relevant, as you can see in this one. So love is our essence, not duality. Though we play with duality in this plane of existence, in the higher truth there is no good and evil, because one power is God, and God is within each of us as our consciousness of love energy. We get to call what we create as good or not, or as Reverend Asha advises us to do, call it preferred or not preferred reality. You remember that? She tells us, then take back your power to name it and experience it. Let's say it again, and maybe this time stand up and feel that energy, if you feel like it. Let's stand up and feel it. I am the divine power of love and joy. Thank you. And if we see the world not as it is, but as we are, a quote often attributed to Anais Nin, suggests that our individual lens of perception significantly impacts how we name things and process information. So I ask you, why not choose the best possible version of yourself and see that reflected in your life? Sure, there will be challenges, often and even extremely difficult things from the earthly point of view in our lifetimes. But consider the possibility that we set it up in this way in our pre-birth plan in order to grow, to create, to evolve, to become kinder, more compassionate to others, to experience the highs and lows of a human life, of our emotions, but all leading back to the oneness with Source. Think about that. I know that none of us who have come this far in life are unscathed by events, deaths of family, loved ones, friends, acquaintances, even strangers who have gone in dramatic ways. But for those who do not believe that there is an afterlife, it is very devastating, especially if God is blamed for the death as an act of God. But when we know the truth that God is love, does not kill people, that everyone at their soul level chooses their time and death of death, even though we don't consciously know it, but our soul does. I mean, how many of us would want to know when and how we're going to die right now? But our soul does. We have various exit points where we can choose. It's part of our soul plan. But we are eternal. Life becomes a precious gift, and death just another doorway to another adventure. Love allows all kinds of experiences, including how and when we release our bodies, our earth suits, if you will. Joshua puts it this way: love is expansion. It is forever ongoing and forever expressing. Not only the expression that you see here, in this dimension, as you call this plane, but in other dimensions, aspects of being, into realms where there are no words for and no concepts that will define it. All those dimensions that are beyond dimensionality is the isness of love. That power is who and what you are, and that power is more than the mind can know. So it's okay for us to not know how this works, just to trust that love is God and God is love. Let's say it again together. I am the power of divine love and joy. Why not remember as often as possible to align ourselves with the frequency of love, to be love, to act from love? That's our true nature. That's not to say that people shouldn't enjoy sometimes the stimulation of fear or testing themselves, as in extreme sports, or have an addiction to dangerous dramas. These are all choices that we can experience as part of the human life, and they come from a place of love or fear, our choice. In God's love, there is no judgment. So all these life games that we play is what Joshua calls us calls the sandbox that we play in. And it's all up to us. As for those of us who've had plenty of non-preferred experiences, I would put out this challenge. Why not consciously choose to embody and experience the most powerful and prevalent force in all the known universes? What is it? Love. The longer I live, the more I see love as the road I choose to travel. How about you? So how do we make the switch from the habits of living in the illusion of duality? The same way musicians get to Carnegie Hall. What is that? Practice. That's right. Practice, my friends. So notes to practice along the way. And you can take out your aid here. Getting to love every day. God is in everything in every situation. So I turn away from the illusions of negativity, turn all that over to God. I stay focused on the grandeur, the miraculous, and the omnipresence of love. And the way I do this is the 3 L's to practice love. First one is, look at your beliefs. Look closely at your recurring thoughts. Are they true? How do they make your heart feel? Which of my thoughts, words, and deeds bring me closest to love? Which give me true joy? So ask yourself those questions when you come to a point of choice. The second L is laugh. What Prem Daya was saying earlier in that prayer about laughing, seeing the irony and the humor in our beliefs in separation, like the fingers of our hands declaring independence and separation, and then practice the heart smile. And third, love. Apply it liberally in every situation, even in ones that look impossible. Remember, ultimately, God's love is in charge. So you can smile from your heart and fall into love daily as you remember your divine heritage. Once you have this practice down to a routine, you will feel your life shift into another gear. And when you shift from what is not working for you to what is, live, and your life will be an embodiment of God's love. And you will find yourself falling in love every day. After all, we have a whole universe to choose from. The sky, rocks, plants, music, art, and of course, people and yourself. Get as creative as life itself. You are God's consciousness. Do fun things, learn a new word, sing a song, step to another dance, learn a new skill, try a new recipe. Show the God self of you your gratitude for being alive in a material world, which is chocolate and rainbows and ice cream and love that is so expansive, so broadening of our horizons, and be in service to others. Keep on learning. Don't bore God. We are unlimited in what we can experience through our senses, our intuition, our imaginations. Give God's life your fullest, no matter what stage of life you are in. So let's say it again together deeply now. I am the divine power of love and joy. Can you feel that in you now? And I'd like to end this part of my message with a quote from one of my favorite poets, Maya Angelou. Where'd you go? Did I miss it? Anyway, one more. There we go. Love recognizes no barriers. It jumps hurdles, leaps fences, penetrates walls to arrive at its destination full of hope. Isn't that a great definition of love? Yeah. So now, one more time. I am the power of divine love and joy. The power of love lays in this great gratitude and awe at the miracle of life itself, and trusting that all is well in the ever-expanding love mind of God. Dear friends, be the power of divine love and joy. So I'd like to open it up for discussion for a little bit, and then we'll have our meditation. So one of the questions I thought, how do you see yourself as expanding the capacity to experience and share the love that you are? How do you see yourself doing that? And what has been your realization about omnipresence and omnibenevolence of God? I have a microphone for him. Bill? It's for our folks on Zoom. Yeah, how do you see yourself expanding your capacity to love? Obviously, all of you are love already.
Okay, I found myself redefining what love is.
Right.
After 47 years of marriage, my wife is divorcing me really soon. And I kind of am saying, why didn't she divorce me years ago? And I would have had much more joy in my life. But thank you for the divorce is what I'm saying. But I just met amazing people while I was married. And this woman named herself after a mountain. Mount Leona is on the eastern side of the country, on the eastern side of this state. And so her young son is Monte Leona, which means Mountain Leona, and he's about 6'5" and growing. But anyways, I just live by joy. And I asked a friend over in Port Townsend, is there anybody as joyful as me and you? And she's lived her whole life. And she said, no. And that told me a lot about what joy is. And I hope others can feel that kind of joy, because it was very nice to feel it, but I didn't realize that other people didn't want that joy. So anyways, tread lightly.
Thank you. When we feel love, we can't help but feel joy in the end. And the challenge is to see through all the challenges that are there, the non-preferred realities. Thank you, Reverend Asha, for that terminology. And to get to the part that is joy, because God's in there.
My brain likes, I'm Clancy. My brain likes to play with acronyms, and love is living outward, vitalizes everything.
Oh, beautiful.
And joy for me is just Ordinary yeses.
Yeah.
If in the middle of the manure, what can I find as the yes? Well, it could be fertilizer.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Well, for me, I've had a little stumbling block sometimes with the word love. With the word love and all of our ideas about what love is, and that I fall into this trying to conjure a feeling that I think is love. And so what's been working for me lately is like letting go of my identity with what love looks like. And that love isn't that I can be loving and love can flow through me even when I'm not feeling it.
Exactly.
And I can hold that attention that, beloved Lord God, however you want to say it, please have that flowing through me. But it's not necessarily that soft touch or the kind word necessarily. It could be love is a great idea that someone brings you and opens your heart a bit so that you're more willing to live, and that we somehow, I think, expect love to be a certain way. And that one of the things about really doing what you're talking about and being love and the affirmation we make is to start letting go of our ideas, make a list of them, what love is, and then put those all away and ask to be shown.
Because you already are love. If you're conscious, is everybody conscious here? Well, your consciousness is love. If you weren't love already, you'd be winking out.
Right.
We wouldn't be seeing you.
We don't have to conjure anything.
No, we already are. Thing is to allow the barriers that we've put around it, whether it's how we define it or how it's supposed to be out there or the images that we get, just let those go and know you already are.
And it helps to know that everybody else is that too. So that even
Exactly.
if they aren't acting what you think is loving, that's who they are.
That's right. You can see behind the veils, behind the mask. That's who they really are. Go ahead.
I know that sometimes love can feel like anger or fear or, oh my God, this is showing up again. And love is growth. And growth sometimes, well, as you move through that, willing to grow, eventually joy will come through at the end. But sometimes love is not always comfortable to do what needs to be done. And it's not always about the lesson of oneself. It's always the lesson about oneself. So I am grateful for this talk today. And I know that expansion is growth. And through that is love. And after that is joy. But joy is always there. It's just sometimes we don't feel it at the moment.
Right, just have to
Right. And
clean
happiness
the
is
windows.
something, right. And happiness is something we can choose, but joy is always there when we're ready to look at it and see it and feel it and experience it. So thank you.
You're very welcome. Anybody else? If not, let's go into meditation. Isn't that what you just said, Sandra? When you know the heart of love, there is nothing left except joy. So allow yourself to breathe, and I'll just do this once to get us into that vibration. Focus on your heart. Appreciate its being, its beating. and how it is always working for you. Your very best friend in your life is your heart. Breathe. Take some deep breaths. Breathe in the appreciation for your body and all the ways that it serves you, a gift from love itself. Think of a time when you were experiencing happiness, simple happiness, like when you held the hand of a child that trusted you and looked up to you. Feel the flow of the trusting, loving energy in your hand. That is God's hand holding your hand through all the challenges in your life. In this rich inner space of pure being, hear Joshua's loving messages as he awakens us and leads us into the beautiful summer garden within the kingdom within. You are, if you will receive it, beloved angels walking upon our Holy Mother, the earth. You are the light come down, as it were, from heaven, and yet there is no coming down. You are the up, you are the down. You are the far, and you are the wide. You are love incarnate. Every moment as you lift up your eyes and behold the beauty of the leaf upon the tree and the play of the sunshine upon the leaf, as you behold the way a flower opens to the sunshine, the way the songbird sings in the morning and evening, each time you look upon your brother and sister and you behold a smile, the Christ light in them, you become truly awake. You have never left the kingdom, except momentarily when you have turned your attention to other feelings and activities, which you have felt to be more real. Whenever you have stopped and you have taken the deep breath and come onto the place of silence, where you could hear the still small voice, you have awakened once more in the kingdom. It takes only your willingness to accept the peace and the love which you are. From that peace, everything else is added unto you. Now, if you're willing, take your hands in front of you. Feel your heart opening. Hold them in front of you like a rosebud. Rise slowly up. Illuminate love. open, open. The love of God right here, right now. And now what I'd like you to do, if you're willing, is to pair up, face each other, and one person will be the receiver and one person will be the sender of love. And I want you to feel how real this is. So the two of you here with Monty, and could you go with, there. Okay, yes. So number one is the sender of love. Feel it from your heart and send it out to that person. And the receiver, I want you to have your hands out and receive. Breathe and receive. Okay. Breathe and send love to the other person. Take another deep breath and do it one more time. And the receiver, be open to the vibrations of love. The frequencies of unconditional love being sent to you. Okay. Now, number two, send love to number one. However you want to do it. Open your arms, your hands. Remember to breathe, taking in and giving out. Breathe. See through the eyes of Christ. The eyes of God is love. And let's say all together, I am the power of divine love and joy. One more time. I am the power of divine love and joy. And you can hug your partner if that feels right. So be it.